Hello and welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little motivation, a little inspiration, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I am Mike Jones from Virginia, and my gratitude this morning is how Jay Shetty makes us think in the mornings.
And good morning, folks. My name is Earl Rule, hailing from the beautiful state of North Carolina. And my gratitude for this morning, I want to piggyback on Jay Shetty, how he can bring motivation and new ideas to our day.
That's great. This is Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. And again, my gratitude is going to be for Jay Shetty as well. Today's topic was a really good one. He talked about the title was Begin Now, right? So he gave us a quote that says, now I'm paraphrasing a little bit, so mind that. He who is not courageous enough to take risks may not achieve goals or ambitions, right? Talked about finding the courage to leap and the magic of the beginning, right? Because that's usually the hardest part, is actually taking that leap, right? He brought up D.H. Murray, who was a Scottish mountaineer. He was setting his course for Mount Everest. And Murray writes, the moment that one commits oneself, then providence moves too. So when you take a deliberate step forward, the universe will have your back, or God will have your back, right? Ignorance kills countless dreams, right? Have you ever been at a point where you were getting ready to take a leap into something and you didn't, right? Because it was just that, a dream. Fear, doubt, and analysis, whatever you can dream, begin it now, right? Too often we let our dreams just stay dreams. We hesitate because we let our minds tell us that we will fail. When you begin, you actually get exposed to all the things that you will need, including the people that you will need on your journey, right? The power exists, but you will need to take the leap. Faith and conviction can allow us to move forward and take that leap, right? He mentioned at the very end, begin, commit, and be bold, and watch what happens. A lot of times we do get too scared to like take that leap forward, right? Especially, well, I shouldn't just say entrepreneurs, it's anybody, right? It could be a new job, it could be a new career, it could be a new business, right, that you're launching. All of those things can have us just stay stuck and not actually move forward, because we keep them as dreams because we don't have the faith in ourselves, right? We don't think that we're good enough, or that we can do it, or that maybe we're going to fail. And we don't want to fail, right? How many of us really want to fail? No one. Earl, you got something?
Yeah, well, I'm on a personal note, I'm into something like that on probably my own social media and website. And the thing is, one of the things I had to realize when you're I want to say starting something new, but you're building on it, it's important in order to keep the momentum up. I think the key word is you got to be consistent with yourself in the process. Because if you're not, if you take two steps back, then it all could, fall down, and then something else distracts you. And I think it's very important that, consistency, but also self-belief too. I mean, just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean that tomorrow can be a better day. And and I think a lot of people watching this are thinking, maybe that's happening to me. You can't let failure get in the way of having success, because no 2 days are going to be alike.
Yeah. And you can't let the concept of failure get in the way, right? Because a lot of times maybe you haven't failed yet, but you think you're going to fail, right?
Well, if something falls back or falls down on you, I look at it as a lesson learned. What did we learn from that lesson? And I think that's the mindset you have to have.
Oh,
Because
for sure.
yes, and I think some people watching this might be falling into that. What lesson did I learn? Because their egos are so big that they're not even in that mindset. Like, okay, what did I learn from that? Oh God, this thing just failed on me. Well, don't look at it that way. Ask yourself, what did I learn from it, and how can I make it better?
Yeah.
Because you have to pick yourself off the ground to be successful.
Facts. Mike?
Um, a couple things. One, the primitive part of our brain can't tell the difference between real fear and perceived fear. Its job is just to protect us from whatever might be coming our way. So we got to overcome the resistance to the perceived fear. Now, you being chased by a bear, yeah, that's real fear, right? Other thing, this applies to relationships too. I'm thinking of a song. Uh, if if Paul McCartney's heart went boom and he never crossed the room when I saw her standing there, it would
Yeah.
have been a whole different outlook, right?
Yeah, for sure. Of course you have a song to go
Yeah,
with it. Go ahead, Earl.
yeah. I want to put something in the relationship part of that, as far as fear is concerned. I think you need to build your self-confidence, but also build your boundaries when it comes to relationships. Because also, I mean, especially for those, if you're having a relationship with somebody or your relationship with yourself or with people around you, I think you no matter what, even though you try to put your guard down to some people, I still say you have to build your boundaries to knowing knowing your worth. And I think that that's a key component.
Yeah, and I think the Bible talks about it a lot, right? Like if God
Right.
says something, he puts something in motion for us, right? We need to go, right? Take action. That's what he's looking for. And then all of a sudden, doors start opening, people that you need or that maybe need you will start appearing. It's
Hmm.
crazy. Like when we were at church on Sunday, Mike and I, there was a couple sitting like kind of right in front of us, off to the side a little bit, and we've never seen them before, right? So, and after church was over, we seen the couple walking out the door, and both Mike and I said, we wanted to talk to them because we just wanted to introduce them and welcome them. But it was like something was pulling us to like, or pushing us to go and speak to this couple, right? We didn't get to because they were already gone by the time we caught up with them, right? But at the same token, like those people maybe were put in front of us for a reason, right? But we don't know what that reason is until you take action and be bold, right? So it goes into the relationship type of thing, right? Because like, so we're all introverts on here, right? The extrovert is off today. So like it's not normal for me just to go up and start a conversation with somebody. That is not normal for me at all. Now an extrovert, that's normal. Like that's just the normal everyday life for them. But for as an introvert, it's not. It's not normal. It actually feels clunky. It feels like odd. But it's like one of those things that maybe those people were put in front of us for a reason. And we didn't take the opportunity to introduce ourselves when we were pushed to, right?
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like one of those things, be bold, take faith or have faith, right?
Hmm.
I used to have this quote on my mirror that says, have unwavering faith. I think John Maxwell talks about that a lot. I think that's where I got it from, was having unwavering faith. Because sometimes,
I,
especially when you start something new, you may need that unwavering faith to take that leap forward, right? Earl, did you have something? Or sorry, Mike.
I didn't
Either
mean to
one.
cut you in with that.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
thinking, my father-in-law had this trait that I wish I can still see and hear him doing it 100 times. I wish I could adopt it. So even at a restaurant, a waiter or waitress, and your name is, and I was talking to a neighbor the other day and came home back and said, "Hey, I met our neighbor. He lives up the street. He's an artist. And what's his name?" Like, I don't know. I, I, 10-minute conversation, and I didn't think to introduce myself. The other thought I had was, and I had this while we were listening to Jay Shetty. I don't remember date. I don't remember even the season, but I can remember one day in my car driving up 95 early in the morning on our Zoom call, and the extrovert of the group says, "Oh, we should start a podcast." And all of a sudden, this wave of unknown came over me. Right, it wasn't fear, but it was kind of unknown. What's a podcast? How do we do a podcast? Is he serious? So,
Oh yeah,
so
that I remember that day too.
shout out to the absent Jay Anderson.
Yes. Shout out to Jay. Earl, did you want to add something?
Well, starting a podcast, I mean, that's walking into the unknown, and you just don't know what kind of result you're going to get. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I mean, it's it's an experiment. But the thing is, in any kind of business or career, sometimes you have to experiment to get where you want to be. I mean, do we know if we failed at first? Maybe. But did we succeed in, did we mess up a couple of times? Maybe. Who knows? But the thing is, at the beginning, uh, when you keep building and be consistent with it, then you see how many people were watching our podcasts and just, you kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you know other people have succeeded, and as long as it's legal and ethical and moral, you have a you have a path you can follow. Just you're getting out of your own way to do it, right?
Right.
And
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're willing to take that step forward, right?
yeah.
Because sometimes we have to get out of our own way.
But I think the key to what Jay Shetty was saying with the story about was Murray
Yeah, D.H.
is
Murray.
he never made it to the top of Everest.
Right. He
But
couldn't get
yet,
acclimated.
but yet he is known for his effort and his journey.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to
Take the journey.
adapt, take the journey, adapt. You may start the journey, but you may not finish. Life is a journey. You don't know when it'll finish. It'll
Yes. Only God knows.
Yeah, life is definitely a journey. You just have to. It's the real. It's the stuff where it's the part of it that it's real. The
Yeah.
journey is there.
Yeah. And so to add on to my story about church on Sunday, so right after that couple walks out on us, right, and we didn't get to introduce ourselves, Mike basically V-lined it and cut off the pastor's wife so that he could meet her because she's an insurance agent as well. She does P&C though. She doesn't focus on life insurance. But he wanted to meet her. Like he basically cut her path off. She was taken back a little bit, but she would after he introduced himself, plus he had a badge on that says that he's part of the serve team, so that did help calm her down a little bit. But she was definitely taken back at first, like because Mike is like right there, all of a sudden cut her path off, and he introduced himself, right? And she was like, "Oh, hey," and so then they're talking back and forth for a minute. Which again, my husband's an introvert as well, so it's
He
not
goes out of
easy.
his comfort zone.
Yes, definitely out of his comfort zone, way out of his comfort zone. But when I watched that happen, I was like, holy cow, like what, because I didn't even know he was going to do that. Like I had no idea where he was walking off to. And then I watched this whole thing unfold and I was like, oh wow. And he's like, and I asked him, I'm like, what got into your mind that made you want to do that? And he was like, well, I missed the first opportunity. He's like, I wasn't going to miss a second opportunity. So it was like failure wasn't even an option at that point. He just went for it, right? Took the leap and listened to God pushing him or nudging him or whatever, and did what he was supposed to, right? He obeyed and was just or obedient, right? But it's not always easy, right? Like that's not an easy thing to do for an introvert, but he did it, right? And I love the fact that, like what you were saying, Mike, about D.H. Murray, he didn't even make it up Mount Everest, but he still is known for that journey, right? Just because he was willing to start, right? He began now, right? So if you're like on the fence of, I'm not sure if I should do this, I'm not positive, just take the leap, right? You guys got
And
anything else?
sometimes you don't get the credit for it, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of when I first joined my church, when I first got here, I literally had to push myself. I mean, with a friend that invited me, and I did. Of course, I didn't know anybody in the church, but that sometimes you get the nerves. When the pastor welcomes you and tell you that it's your first time here, it's just I slowly climbed up that mountain to slowly get in comfort. Said, "I'm okay. I'm here. Let's just God is here with me. Let's get through this." Hopefully we can make a few more friends and just I just like literally I'm like a turtle sitting in my shell in the back of the church when I'm sitting listening to the sermon.
Yeah, absolutely. That is
but
normal for an introvert, right? We're okay with that.
but
Um,
when I was encouraged by one of the pastors to the social groups that we have here at the church, you know, it's a good way of giving back. And sometimes I felt like maybe I have time to do this. I don't know. Maybe this will good for me. I'm so in my head about it. And I'm glad I was introduced to the men's fellowship group because they welcomed me with open arms.
Yeah,
And it's that to me helped me build a little confidence in me.
yeah, for sure. And I would agree. It's like, um, you know, when you're starting something brand new and you don't know anybody and you're like debating on whether you're going to go and do this thing, right? No matter what it is, it doesn't matter, right? Even when you attend your first conference for symmetry, right? I would imagine that most of us were overwhelmed or didn't know what to expect or just felt a certain way. And, but we still took that leap and went and joined and it worked out, right? It's not like you failed doing that. Unless you just don't go, then you kind of fail, right? But, it's just being bold in that moment, right? And taking that first step.
Well, the good thing is when I first joined, I have to admit that my finances weren't at its best, and we were meeting at it's like a mall that we have over here where you have your choice of little restaurants to eat at, and the leader, I'm not going to mention any names, but the leaders, he looked up to me, he goes, "Do you need?" And I said, "I just got my water bottle. I won't eat dinner." He goes, "I got you. Come on, I'll take care of you." I said, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah, come on, let's go. There's a Chick-fil-A right over there. Come on." Nobody says no to Chick-fil-A over here. I says, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's a big gentle. If you look at this guy, Christine, I mean, he looks like Hulk Hogan. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's a big dude. He's got the mustache, a bald head, but you know what? He's one of the most gentle giants that you'll ever meet,
I love
and
that.
always has a good word. So, it was a blessing in disguise, you could say.
Yeah, for sure. They always are. All right.
All right. Well, folks, as you can see, we are not licensed therapists, nor do we tend to be, but we do listen to a app on Calm called Jay Shetty, which we do every day, daily, Monday through Friday, to help us give us some inspiration, motivation through our day. And we certainly hope you will come back. And please don't forget to leave a comment for us. Your feedback helps us out a lot, so we can get a little more help in there. And I hope everyone, oh yeah, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Peace.
This is